So then the next question is, the bigger philosophical question is, does the language you speak change the way you think? And I'm a full believer in that it does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it can't not.
Yeah. Yeah. I am here now in a beautiful Finnish forest with Irina Pravet.
Hi.
How's it going, Irina?
Good.
Where are we? What is this?
So this is Maunulan keskuspuisto. I actually wanted to go that way.
Okay, let's go.
So this is Maunulan keskuspuisto, and keskuspuisto is like the biggest and most diverse. Okay, yeah, so keskuspuisto is Helsinki's most, it's like the biggest, it's basically a forest, even though it's called a park.
Okay.
And I think it's the most like diverse, I don't know, there's a lot of diversity here. I just feel like this is my little corner of Helsinki.
And how long have you lived here?
6 years? 5 years? 6 years in August.
And where are you originally from?
Oh God, I hate that question.
Before coming to Helsinki?
So I came to Helsinki from Tampere.
Okay.
And I came to Tampere from Montreal, Canada. And I came to Montreal, Canada from Toronto, Canada. And before that, I lived in Montreal, Canada. And before that, I was born in Bucharest,
Awesome.
Romania.
What an awesome way to answer that, because I hate that question when I get it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, no, I don't hate it, but I find it difficult to
And also,
answer.
especially in the context, like,
Yes.
do you even know my name? And
Yes.
you're already asking me where I'm from?
Yes.
Like, do I now
Oh, do
have
you
to...
get that?
Yeah.
People before they ask your name.
Yeah. Like, we don't even know each other, and it's like, where are you from? And I don't know. I guess I'd like to spread some awareness about, like, it's not always appropriate. So.
What do you do in Helsinki? Is that the next annoying question?
Yeah, these are two hard ones back to back. So I help people learn Finnish, especially people who haven't had success with traditional methods and courses. So I work as a Finnish language coach.
Yes.
And like also cultural transitions coach. So I see that the cultural transition is part of the language learning process.
Well, this is what fascinates me, the fact that you sound like you do, and most people who sound like you do when they speak English do not speak fluent Finnish.
I know.
Do not speak fluent Finishly. Do not speak Finnish fluently.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
So
that was
that's
actually
so
one of the,
inspiring to
Yeah.
have somebody like you speaking Finnish, that we can all learn it.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of my core beliefs, is that we're all like wired for language.
Really?
We're all born, to adapt to the language around us, and we've all done that in childhood, in infancy, and then we kind of tend to forget that we could do that again, but we can keep doing it throughout our lives.
Truthfully, do you think at a certain age you're too old to learn a new language?
No.
Are you only saying that because
No.
you want to inspire people? It's never too late.
No, because I think our brain can adapt at any age, right? This is neuroplasticity. And so to say that past this specific age, it's not possible for you to adapt anymore. That's like,
Wow.
well, we might as well just give up.
Tell me about your personal Finnish learning journey. How did it start?
So I actually started on exchange. I went to Germany to improve my German. And then I met a Finn, and I was like, oh, maybe I can learn some Finnish. So that was like the fun, like just trying to Google things and figure stuff out. That summer I came to Finland and I got a book, and so I took that back to Canada with me, but then I didn't really do anything with it until I moved to Finland, and then that's when it really started.
How did you manage
I haven't answered your question yet.
to do it while being a native English speaker? Like, how did you get Finns to speak to you in Finnish in the early days?
That was actually one of the challenges, because if people hear you speaking English
Yes.
like this, then they like
Yeah.
switch to Finnish,
Doing-
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I basically figured out that you can't show up and like speak English and then like I kind of just refuse to speak English, or I selectively would not reveal where I'm from, or purposely not speak very loudly. And because not because like I think this is where we need a bit more education for Finnish speakers, that like just because you speak like this doesn't mean you can't speak Finnish. Like jos mä aloitan puhua suomea, blah blah blah. But it's funny because if you hear me speaking Finnish first, then you'll just hear like accent that isn't necessarily there. But then if I speak Finnish first, I make like an impression, I like anchor my identity as a Finnish speaker. Then I switch to English and then I come back, then it's okay. But if I haven't anchored it in there, then
great point.
It's kind of messed up, to be honest. I think.
Great
but
point.
I also, it's super subconscious. It's not something that a lot of people are aware that they do. So what I've advised people is it takes two to tango, three to tango, two to tango. It takes two to tango. So if someone switches to English, you don't have to switch. And so this is something that I was doing in the beginning. Just because they switch to English, then you could say, like, mä haluan puhua suomea.
Wow.
Hei, jatketaan suomeksi. And you practice that in advance, right? So that you know it happens. So when it happens, you have like something to say.
There's a quote, I don't know who said it, to have another language, to speak another language is to have another soul. Do you know that quote?
Yeah, I think it was Charlemagne, the first king of France, who said it.
Okay.
But who knows,
That's
Albert
right.
Einstein.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
I think I do, yeah. I don't always have like access to the experience of like, yes, this is true, but like I think I have had in the past.
So then the next question is, the bigger philosophical question is, does the language you speak change the way you think? And I'm a full believer in that it does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it can't not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can not impact how we think, because we're interacting with different people. We're in a different context. We're maybe in a different environment as well. So like, there are words in different languages that are like the same. You either say banani, or you say banana, or you say banan, or you say banana. And like, they all mean the same thing. But then maybe there's like certain concepts that don't translate, or bananas have a different, this is a very silly example, but like have a different implication for you. Like if you're a banana farmer, that's going to mean something different for you. So in that sense, like how can the context in which you're speaking the language itself is a context, right? So how can that not shape the way that you perceive things?
Yeah, and those kind of nouns like banana, apple, that's an easier example. If we go to like abstract words, then it's even more clear.
Yeah. Well, here, let's take the word immigrant. So my entire life, I was an immigrant. Like we moved to Canada when I was 5.5, and immigrant never really seemed like something negatively associated to me, like just because of the experiences that I personally had in Canada. Then when I moved to Finland in 2010, and I was asking like, how do I say immigrant? So I could say like, I am an immigrant. Then people were like, oh, well, it's maahanmuuttaja, but you wouldn't use that word. And then you get into all of these like status, racial, all of these issues
attachments.
where the perception of an immigrant in Finland is different than the perception in Canada, and because of history and context and blah blah blah. And I'm not saying that that's right, and so it's really hard to also remove my Canadian brain from that equation.
Do you mostly teach one-on-one, or
So I teach a group coaching program, a group language coaching program called Finnish Through New Eyes. Twice
Finnish
a
through
year.
new eyes?
Yeah. So it's the entire, like, we're gonna approach learning Finnish in a completely different way. We're gonna focus on the how, instead of the words and the grammar. We're gonna focus on how the process works, how the experience feels. And what's interesting is that, we project so much onto language, some of which does not have so much to do with language, but because we learn from our experience, you know, it doesn't really make sense to take all of that out and to say, hey, here are just words and grammar, just learn it and go, right? But when we look at it from the point of view of like, I'm a new person in this place, like I'm feeling vulnerable, I'm, you know, whatever the experience, I made a mistake, that was embarrassing, right? Like, I think emotions are part of the experience. And so when we take those into account, in addition to many other things, then we approach language in a very different way than the way we've kind of traditionally been taught to think about it.
Okay, so a thing that I'm always thinking about is accuracy in communication. So this is more of a general question. Do you think, because I've been noticing in the past few years, accuracy in English has been reducing among most people, among most of my English and American friends. Do you see that? Do you agree, or is it just something that I'm seeing?
I've maybe heard like examples of it in the business context where you have like people who have learned English being much more intentional in the way that they use language, and then people who speak English as their first language, maybe not being aware of how unclear something might be. But like, this is like a news, you know, article that I read.
Oh,
so,
you have to send that to me, because that's something I've been. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. Because I'm glad it's a news article, because I thought it was something that I've been noticing myself. Whereas I really enjoy speaking English with my Finnish friends.
Yeah.
When I speak English with my, maybe I'm becoming Finn, but when I speak English with my English and American friends, I notice so many accuracies. Like, you're saying things that you don't mean, and you know that I know that you don't mean it, and you want me to interpret the underlying meaning.
Yeah, and I think that's cultural. And it may well be that you're becoming more Finnish, that you want things to be precise. I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
I do want things to be, isn't it? Shouldn't we want things to be precise when it comes to language?
To be honest, it's really nice to just start emails where I'm like, hi, hope you're well. And then I just dive in.
Yes.
And then sometimes I forget to put that, and like in Finnish, I'll just write like moi, and then I jump right in. And then even my husband was like, maybe you should add like one sentence before that to soften it. Like I went like past the Finnish
I'm
line.
so glad you understand that. The softening.
Yeah.
Do we need so much softening now? Why can't we just communicate?
I don't know. I don't know.
Irina, I could nerd out with you all day about this stuff. But I'm going to say thank you so much
Thank you
for taking me on a beautiful walk and talk through the forest.